Hello again, it's Noob, and today we have this really nice Baton padlock, and this is a Baton disc detainer padlock, the 60, 20, 40mm version. And yeah, very interesting. I believe that this has 11 discs. If we gut it later on, then we can count them for sure, but I think this is an 11 disc lock. And yeah, it's very nice, very smooth operating. In fact, overall, it's a really nice lock and quite a nice lock to pick. Now, it's got a very deep keyway. In fact, I've marked here on the key, just with a bit of a black mark pen, how deep the lock goes, the body of the lock goes before you hit the first disc. So if I put the key in, you'll see that that black mark aligns with the top of the lock, and that there, where my nail is the first 360 degree spinner disc. You can't tension off it, but that's where it is. So it's quite a deep sort of keyway there. Right, so tensioning. This is quite easily picked using a rear tensioning tool like this silver bullet. In fact, if I align that, you'll see that it replicates the tip extremely well. And like about 80 to 90% of these disc detainer locks, they're very easily rear tensioned. Not often is there a center tension or a top tension in the higher security ones anyway, but most of these disc detainer locks can be rear tensioned. But I know that more people will probably have a front tensioning tool like this Sparrows Pick, but there's a problem using this, and that is looking at the key. So remember I said that the first position on the key here, there, you can't really see it because it's not a cut, but that there between the two jaws of the tweezers is a 0 cut, and that actually engages with the spinner at the bottom of the lock, and that goes around 360 degrees. You can't tension off it, see, it just goes around and around. Can't tension off it, and that's a security feature. It's also got a profile on it, which means it looks like a little bow tie. So if you can rear tension it, but you don't have a rear tensioning lock pick, and you can reach the front disc but you can't tension off it, what else can you do? Well, can you reach the second disc here? Now this is an extremely low cut, so you might think you can't tension off that, because what you'll end up doing is completely oversetting that disc. But like most things, try it. If you get feedback on the discs, you might just be able to do it. In fact, I found that you can tension off the second disc in this lock, but it does mean you have to do something really tricky at the end, and that is to use the tension tip to pick the second disc and then withdraw it back out while tensioning off the last disc, which we know in most locks is going to be, you can tension off it. Then you pick the spinner using the tip as well, so you end up picking two discs with the actual tensioning tip while tensioning with the pick tip. Let me show you. It's well, I find this a really fun pick, but it's quite intensive. Now we're in the vise in what I hope is a good viewing angle for you. Let's just pop the key in. The problem with these disc locks, isn't it? It's probably why they don't get used on lots of doors, is that once you get the discs, there you go, that works fine, all mashed about inside, it's very hard to put the key in. Now let's use this goat wrench, and I find that's perfect for just moving all of the discs completely over to the most clockwise position, like that. Remove it. Now we're going to tension off disc 2 with that picking tip. So what we're doing, if I align it to the key, is we are picking, we're tensioning off that disc, this disc here, that cut. It does take a while because it's not a pushover lock, this one, but it is a great deal of fun. So put the pick in, there we go, get some good tension. Make sure it's completely centered. That's one of the biggest keys, and you can tell because it'll just slide up and down very easily with a pick tip if it's centered. If you do that, that's the biggest tip I can tell you about making sure you pick these disc locks, apart from not too much tension. Okay, so because we're tensioning from the front, you're most likely to get the better feedback from the front, but we'll just go through from the back anyway, just because. Okay. 11. Oh, little click there on 10. I think it's 10 anyway. Let's have another go. So 10. Move that one. 9. Nothing really on that one yet. 8. Oh, feedback. And it stops, so I'll leave it there. Oh, move on a bit. 8. 7. Nothing yet. 6. Oh, it's a nice feedback. Get on it. Oh no, that was actually it's a position already, so that's good. Oh, that was it 5? I can't remember. Or was it 6? That's 4, I think. 3. Okay, so going back through now, I think disc 3, 4 in the gates. So 5, 6, good feedback now. 6, 7, 8, nice. 8, 9, 10 on 11 now. Good, right. I'm going to call it picked, apart from the first 2 discs. And now, as I said, you know, nearly all of these locks can be rear tensioned. So if we tension off the last disc using the pick tip now, so I'm going to let go, see? I'm tensioning just off that. Now, this might slip off because we've got a very fine pick tip here. And then what we need to do is turn back this until we feel the gate on disc 2. Which I think is about there, actually. I'm going to call it there. And then move it forwards a little bit and then pick the spinner disc without slipping off it, which is easier said than done. Hands are actually shaking a little bit because it's fine work to do this. Okay, don't think I've completely picked disc 2 yet. Try that. Try there, okay. Now just got to get that last spinner disc. Here we go, come on. I've lost the, move the tip off the tension there. Let's try spinner disc, spinner disc, spinner disc. And we got it. There we go. Whew. Let's remove that. So that took a little bit of finesse. Had to really concentrate. I don't know if you saw my hand shaking there, just because you need to have such fine control to feel the second disc pick, and then also you've got to have the first disc again. You've got to pick it, and then it all turns. It's very cool. Right, let's see if we can gut that. So remove the tool. Now, in there was a little grub screw that goes down into the keyway there, but I've removed it, and now I can use this gut wrench, which is perfect for this actually, as it happens. Oh, so I just realised I've got autofocus on, so I'll just take it off so we can actually see what's going on. So there we go. So how many did we have in the end? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was right, which is good. And that's the last disc, the 11th one. And just to show you that free spinner, the one with the profile, if it gets focus for you. If not, I'll do it manually. There we go. And you see that it's got 2 cutouts either side, so it can be orientated this way around or this way around. It doesn't matter really how it goes, but you can't tension off it. There's no little arm to tension off like that. So yeah, it's kind of a cool lock, really enjoyable pick, and it just goes to show that, you know, you got to be careful. This is center tensioner, you'd never be able to use this, but it can just about work with a little bit of care if you're tensioning off the second disc. Don't always get feedback by doing it that way, but on this lock I got lucky. Right, hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you all next time.